Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome. So, we've done an awful lot of work on energy. We've done aura energy, we've just finished that. We've done colour energy, we've done chakra energy. So, as I explained, how important energy is, because that is the only way that spirit can communicate with us is through our energy, and learning how we work is just so helpful to them. They never will change how they work with us. They keep that once we understand what they're saying, they will keep on saying. Oop, that didn't help, did it? Okay. So anyway, we've done a lot of work on attachments in the auras. We've done a lot of work on understanding how to balance our chakras and things. As I have written a book here, I'd love to be able to get handouts to people, but I don't know how. Let's do one thing at a time. I've just learned how to do this. So anyway, that's section 1 of my book completed about the various energies. The next section of my book is examining all the spirit assistance we get, the spirit realm, the elemental realm, the angels, characters, how the characters can influence our dreams and things like that. Angels, did I say angels? Yeah, so these next few videos will be about people that help and guide us in our work. So this section examines the spirit realm, as I say, in the form of spirit guides, angels, animal guides, elemental energy, dreams, etc. So meeting our guides, a highly developed spiritual being. Guides can be present for one event to guide you through it, or they will stay for a lifetime through several events. So many of us meet our guides when we do start developing, when we sit in circle or our mediumship connection becomes strong. Then our guides can make their presence felt. It's not that they're not there, it's just that they can make their presence felt more. Just seeing if that's my aura or light. It looks like light, doesn't it, because it's not moving with me. So yeah, so once we start developing and we raise our energy, then our guides are able to communicate with us. It doesn't mean they weren't there previously, it just means that now we can be aware of them, we can find them. So sometimes they can come for a specific intention, healing us, grieving, loss of direction, concerned with spiritual growth, not psychic ability. You don't have to be a medium. We all have guides, whether we take care of them, whether we notice them, whether we work with them or not, we all do have a guide. Knowing our guide is not important. I was never concerned with meeting my guide. It wasn't important to me. I always felt, I like to think that my family were my guides, family in the spirit world. I like to think they were guiding me and showing me the way. I have met my guide and guides since, but I still like to think that my family in spirit are behind me, guiding me and helping me. So that's my personal thoughts on spirit guides. So we also have something called a guardian and doorkeeper. These are possibly more useful to a medium. They protect the medium and intervene if a medium is overworked, because spirit can be relentless. They can work forever, they can never stop. It's up to us to close spirit off and say no more. I'm fortunate, I've never had to close spirit off. They're always closed until I open, until I meditate and start talking to them. I've never had to. People have asked me before, how do you close spirit down? And I said, I've never had to do that. They just aren't there when I don't want them to be there. So that's how that works for me. So they can actually be relentless. I do say to spirit, they're not allowed in my bedroom ever, but they do sneak in there, and I get messages through dreams. And a couple of times I've had spirit, they stand by the bedroom door, because I face the bedroom, and they stand there and they start talking to me, and I say, okay, I've got you. and it's always been the night before I do a service, and when I get to the service the next day, somebody in that service has been able to take the spirit that visited me. That doesn't happen very often. They're very respectful of leaving me alone in my private room, my space, but it does happen when it's important. So I just go with the flow with that. But as I said, they can be relentless or confused. They're not a teacher as such, these guardians and doorkeepers. They are more of an observer, looking after the medium's interest and saying, oh, that's enough, stop there. Or interpreting what's going on between us. So they're quite an important part of our entourage, as it were. They are a link between the medium and spirit to create a strong communication. These are our guides, obviously. They support less experienced mediums to attune. They're a friend and advisor. They play an important role in trance communication specifically, because obviously when the medium's in trance situation, they're unable to protect their energy or decide who's coming through next, because they're not present in that energy. So it's not something I've studied a lot. It's not something I've had interest in. I have done a trance medium workshop, and that was really interesting. Personally, I felt like I'd been through the trance meditation. I felt like I'd been put in, like a bell jar. Like my energy was just so, it felt trapped. And I know that's to keep me still, so that the spirit can come and talk to me through trance, but I didn't like it. I'm too much of a control freak for trance energy. I like to know what's going on around me, but I have experienced it, and it is quite something. But as I say, you can see why they need their very own protection, a very own spirit guide in when they're in trance. So so they create a strong communication with us and support less experienced mediums. They can a friend and advisor. They play an important role in trance, as I've said. Guides cannot control a medium's life or force a medium to do anything. So, we couldn't commit a crime and say a guide made us do it. We are in full control of our life always. So yeah, we don't allow guides to take over our lives. Oops, excuse me. A guide does not free a medium from responsibility. Anything we say or do or repeat is our choice to do that. Guides and mediums, we must work in partnership. The law has been changed since I started mediumship. We used to be under the Witchcraft Act, which I much preferred. I think now we're under Goods and Services Act. So if a medium says you're going to win the lottery and you pack your job in because you think you're going to win the lottery, you can hold them responsible for that. So it's good in one way, it's a good thing, but I feel that there's good and bad influences in all areas of life. You get good hypnotherapists and you get bad ones. You get good alternative healers, good massagers, bad massagers. So I think we fall into the group of self-control, self-editing. I can't think of the words. But yeah, we are responsible for what we do as much as we can. Do no harm. When I started giving readings, I actually did do a counselling course because I didn't realise people would come with such big problems that they wanted answers to. So I did a short counselling course. So I know that how not to harm anybody and let people come to their own conclusions about what I'm reading if they can. So medium guides share a common goal. We attract spirit helpers as we develop mediumship and as we develop spiritually. So many people willing to help us. So we have questions for our guides. This is what we'll be looking for from our guides. Interpreting symbols, types and meanings of symbols, personal, cultural and universal symbols, symbolic gifts and meditation. I don't think we'll get through all of those today because, as you know, I like to keep my videos to about 30 minutes. I'm just having a look here for where we've gone wrong. So, meeting our guides. As I said, guides work closely with us in our everyday lives and assist movement between the two worlds. Knowing who they are is not as important as having confidence that we are being directed by beings that have knowledge of the things we need to learn. What is a guide? A guide can be anyone that's become highly developed spiritually. They remain close to earthly life and act as a link between worlds to be able to protect and teach those remaining here on earth. Their level of spirituality dictates their ability to work as a guide. A guide could be someone known from a previous life or a family member. Whoever the guide is, the medium will have an affinity with them. Perhaps they worked in the same field. It's this familiarity, that's my words, that unites them and allows us to work closely with the guide. We have to have a common energy. A guide can be with a medium for a specific part of their life to teach certain things, such as if you're doing a course, maybe a healing course, a medium course, a tarot course. A guide can be with us while we're learning these things and help and guide us on our courses. A medium may have more than one guide, each assisting with a different task. One guide for healing, one with communication, and one guide for transfer, etc. Some mediums meet their guides very early in their lives, and that guide stays with them until the end of their physical life. Many people meet their guides in development circles, where they learn to know and trust them. Guides can present as people and have their own personality. They are concerned with spiritual growth, not just your psychic ability. You do not have to be a medium to have a guide, but it's probably easier to know your guide if you accept your medium. I believe we're all mediums, so we are all have the potential to meet our guide. But those are just my thoughts. Mediums also have a guardian called doorkeepers. They protect the medium and generally keep things in order. They intervene if the medium becomes overworked or confused. The guardian is not a teacher, but an observer with the medium's interest in mind. They act as a link, guides act as a link between the medium and spirit to create a strong communication, and they support less experienced mediums in getting their messages understood and to the right recipient. They teach a medium how to attune to the spirit world and are both a friend and advisor. Guides help us play an important role in trance communication, which we've discussed. A guide cannot control the life of the medium or force the medium to do anything they do not want to. Working with a guide does not release a medium from responsibility. All decisions ultimately lie with the medium. The guide and medium are in partnership, so we don't have to worry about bossy guides making us do things we don't want. The guide and the medium share the desire to heal, protect, and let others know their loved ones have survived into a new world. This is very true. Wherever our life has led us, we all have a guide, sometimes referred to as a guardian angel. They watch over us and attempt to steer us in the right direction. We may in the past have ignored thoughts such as, I don't want to go there, I don't want to do that, only to wish we had listened to that inner warning after an event has gone awry. Perhaps you have a good feeling that made you do or not do something, and you made the right decision based on those feelings. That may be your guardian angel lending a hand. However, it is up to us to follow or reject those feelings. Many people go through life unaware of spirit helpers. As spiritual awareness increases, we tend to attract spirit helpers around us. We may be told by a medium who they are, but it's when we begin to develop our own psychic skills that we truly become aware of our guides. Developing a relationship with guides. Spirit guides may manifest in seances, readings or meditations, but sometimes they simply show up to an individual and allow themselves to be heard or felt. This is where, again, your journal becomes really, really handy because they can appear in so many different ways. It can be repetition of numbers, like 333, 444. Or even, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so long as repetition of numbers or links of numbers. Lights going off and on, that's quite common. Feeling hot or cold. These are just a few ways a guide may make their presence felt. Keeping a journal is essential. It records facts to refer to if memories, or in my case, when memories get confused. It can be difficult to know the name of your guide, but they do sometimes show a glimpse of their earthly lives. This makes it easier to research their origin, so again, pay attention, take notes. To determine the intent of your guide, you need to use your senses and intuition and observe the impact this guide has when manifesting around you. How is your energy level after this interaction with the guide? Do you feel uplifted or tired? How does the area where your guide manifests feel? You may notice more if you keep a journal. Sorry about that. I just wonder, a journal's so useful. You can just look back on it. Really, for me, it made so many links that I probably would never have made if I hadn't been keeping a journal and taking notes of my progress. And then again, you can think that you're not developing very fast, or it's too slow, or you're not good enough, and all these things. And when you look back in your journal, you can see how far you've come and how much better and more spiritual you are. Depending on the strength of the guide's energy and the ability of a medium, the connection can be strong. A teenager spirit, for example, can manifest as poltergeist phenomena because teens are filled with strong, fresh, clear energy that can easily be tapped by the spirit. And yeah, when my children were teenagers, it was absolute hell in my house, I can't tell you. We'd be sitting in the lounge, just the three of us, me and my children, and we'd hear someone come through the front door, go past stairs, which are opposite the front door. Then we'd hear the toilet door close and the chain flush and footsteps. There's never anybody there. And then, if we walk past the what were they called now? There's record centres with a record player on top and all the tape decks and things like that underneath. And we'd walk past that, and that would come on and off all the time because their energy was just so high. I had so many experiences through their teenage years, and in the end I had to kind of explain that it was just their Uncle John, and it was just their granddad. This was before I was actually went into a spiritualist church, but I had to say something so that they wouldn't be scared in their own house. I wouldn't even mention how terrified the dog was in the house at times. So yes, during the teenage years can be very, very traumatic, erratic. That'll be very noticeable. I use all of that energy, which is why I spent so long on the energy or energy chakra energy calendar, and we'll be going back to energy because they love energy. Spirit and guides of energy. It is believed that spirit guides evolve in their realm as we do in the material world. You can support your guide by knowing their purpose and providing light and assistance to them via meditation. Like people, a spirit may prefer different techniques to communicate. Some guides may send visual information, so if your eye catches something, it may translate into a message. A clock may indicate a significant time. If you become aware of a certain car while you're out, it may be relevant to what the guide is trying to show you. However, if you start to feel various aches and pains, it may be the guide making you aware that the spirit communicating with them passed with a headache or had a hip replacement or had arthritis in the feet. This is where we need circle for development, because so many times in circle when I'm teaching, students have said, it may be my imagination, but I think this is my imagination, but when they actually speak out what they've saw or felt or heard, somebody else in the circle can take that and say, oh yeah, my dad passed with that condition, or my auntie has arthritis in her feet. So we really need the feedback as we are training to become mediums, so that we know what we're feeling, sensing, thinking and feeling is correct. So as I say, however, if you start to feel various aches and pains, it may be that the guide making you aware that the spirit communication with them passed with a headache or had a hip replacement. As development progresses, a medium will become proficient at reading the many signs and signals that spirit sends us. That's true. That's true. The more you work, the more you know, as in life. An experienced spirit guide will provide direct information to a query. Therefore, it helps to ask questions in very simple fashion. You can use basic divination methods such as a pendulum, cards. Cards are my thing, tarot cards, any sort of cards. I love working with cards. I always feel when I turn over a card, like spirit's looking over my shoulder, saying, oh, what did that say? I think they're very nosy. So yes, basic divination methods, pendulum or cards. Crystal ball, I've never come to terms with the crystal ball, but I've had students that just look into it and they just see amazing things and give amazing messages, but maybe I haven't just practiced enough with it. Keep track of answers and do not rush to take actions based on the responses. Remember that you are developing a relationship with your guide that can take time to evolve, and trust needs to be earned through action and evidence. All right, let's see now. Questions for your spirit guide. Okay, interesting. There are numerous ways. We're not going to have time to do the meditation today. We'll do it shortly on the next one. Questions for your guide. There are numerous ways to communicate with the guide, as we've just discussed. Reading cards, a pendulum, clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, psychometry, ribbons, all sorts of communication techniques. Find the method that best suits you and your guide, and then always use the same method to communicate with them. Ask questions such as, what age are they? Questions, it's okay, spirit got me again. Ask questions. How old are they? Are they male or female? Do you feel they're formal or relaxed in their communication style? What are the words like? Are they funny? Are they relaxed in their speech? Ask them where they passed. Were they at home or in hospital? How did they pass? You might be able to feel how they passed. You might get breathless, or you might get pain in the chest, or you might get bad tummy or headache. So when you find out, that's how I work, and everybody works differently, but I feel spirit. Did they prefer a cup of tea, or did they like a pint? What do they want to learn? What are they here for? Why are they with us? What kind of pets did they own or would have liked? What is their personality? Are they positive or negative people? Is the cup half full or half empty? Are they happy, sad, serious, thoughtful, gentle, reserved, outgoing, smart, relaxed in their nature? You have to excuse me. Yes, spirit again. You must feel that I'm really itchy. I'm only itchy when I work with the spirit. Do they get easily stressed? Get to know your guide as you would a trusted friend. Then you will have confidence in what you are receiving from them. And that's really what this is about and what my book's about. It's about getting as close to spirit as we can. When I was training, I actually had a list of things. I don't know whether I said this earlier in a previous one. I had a list and I had to ask spirit these questions. What hospital were they in? What medication? were they on? What was their hairdresser's name? Did they have a dog? If they had a dog, what breed was it? And I had these list of questions that I had to ask while I was being taught mediumship, because Spiritual National Union is what I'm a member of, and they believe in evidential mediumship. So we had to give evidence that we were talking to spirit, and I have certificates for that from the union. I might go over the 30 minutes because I just want to get through this sensing or seeing, guys. As we develop spiritually, there are many ways guides will communicate. You may hear a ringing or buzzing in the ear. This sensation may only last for the time it takes you to realise it is connected to the present experience. They're trying to get your attention for something that's going on in the present time. You may be having a spiritual moment, feeling a connection to people or to the universal energy, and this may be your guide confirming their presence and confirming your reading of the energy. Typically, you may see a sphere of light commonly called an orb. You may see a pinpoint of light either clairvoyantly or as a physical event as you think and feel about the presence of your guide. Remember, a sign from spirit should never be intrusive. You may become aware of seeing things repetitively. This is common. Most commonly numbers in sequence. However, it can be any number and can manifest in many forms, such as seeing 3 animals of the same species together. For example, noticing 3 robins or finding 3 pennies. If you see a repetition of numbers in any form, pay attention to the moment prior to the sequence, as it may be significant. Excuse me again. If, when you are alone, you sense a presence close to you, it signifies your spirit guide is nearby. Creativity is a fabulous way which our guide inspires us, because when we are engaged in crafting something, whatever that might be, you receive insights just when they are needed, or perhaps you might find the right words to express yourself clearly in a difficult situation. The way it was explained to me is that while I'm focused on something in front of me, or whether it's writing's really good. Writing's really good for bringing spirit close. Writing or crafting or sewing, whatever you do, while you're concentrating on that, it creates a little gap in your mind, and spirit get in that little gap there and start guiding you through your crafting experiences and reminding you of things. So that's how it was explained to me, and it seems to make sense. When we're in water as well, either swimming or showering, because water's another great conduit for spirit to come through. It's another great energy for spirit to use to be close to us. What else? Express yourself clearly, we've said that. Engage in crafting a work of art. We may receive insights just when they are needed, or perhaps find the right word to express ourselves clearly in a difficult situation. Did I say that? You may have gone on for the spirits now. We're going to hope. You may receive spiritual opportunities that come in the form of your limits being tested, such as resisting a temptation or becoming better at discerning right from wrong. These are opportunities. They will be obvious enough for you to recognise that they're a little bit unusual, and that they were probably planned with the intention to see how you would react. And particularly, I find the recurring of a situation, like if somebody's mean to you, go back to that person and back to that person. They keep being rude to you, think, why am I still talking to this person? When you get the repetition of things, or 2 or 3 people, because I'm reading this book and it's fabulous, and so repetition in any form is a good way that spirit expresses their intentions and gets your attention. So as it says, these opportunities will be obvious enough for you to recognise them. As spirit draws close, the energy around you may change, creating various physical sensations. It may take the form of a light pressure at the base of your brain or in the third eye. This one's common, a little bit of pressure here. So I say common, I mean it's common for me. Maybe it's not common for everyone, but So you might get a pressure at the base of your brain or in your third eye in your forehead. The top of your head may tingle, or you may feel a cobweb sensation on your face. You may feel hot or cold as they draw close. These are a few of the signs that your spirit guide is close. I think when you start working with spirit, you will feel all of them. There'll be one after the, but one will be stronger than the other. For instance, you may feel hot or cold. I always feel cold. I always get the shivers and the goose pimples. So when you start feeling spirit, what you feel strongly, what you feel strongest, will be the way that they will work with you. So just to be boring for another minute, keeping a journal will help you recall coincidences or synchronicities that you may not remember otherwise, such as a recurring dream or seeing the same person in different places at different times. If you notice people being rude or hostile throughout your day, consider if it means a need to examine your own behaviour or reactions. They will, and I do think, because I'm a spiritualist and because I've been doing this for so long, I do think spirit talk to us all day. I think they make us aware of things all day. I think they're with us totally, whether we notice them or not, whether we are consciously aware of them or not, they are there. So this is being part of my spirit guide information. So next week we'll be looking at interpreting symbols and signs from our guides, and when and how we can ask for signs from our guides so that we know it really is them, because they're listening to us all of the time. So that's my 30 minutes or our 30 minutes today, and I'll be back hopefully in the next few days when we'll be looking at interpreting all these signs that we've talked about today and what they mean for us and why spirit is sending them. Oh, excuse me. Thank you. See you all very shortly. Oh, and do leave comments on whether you like or hate this video, or what you would like me to see me to do, because I'm very new to this still. So any advice, I don't mind negative advice, would be useful. Thanks again.